All right. Just get yourself settled there at the end of your mat as we start this brand new week. And just start to roll your shoulders. Good. Bring your hands up. Clasp your hands behind your head. And first, I want you to push your head into your hands. So let your chin rise, squeeze your shoulder blades, take a breath, and then exhale and let your elbows come forward and feel that lengthening in the back of your neck. Good. Do that again. Look up and then down. And we're going to do that one more time. Look up and then look down. Good. Take a breath here. Lift high, exhale, bend your knees, soft fold down to the floor. Good. Take a step halfway back with your right foot. Unhinge. Take your hands to your hips. Press your hips forward. And now we're going to bend that back knee, sit down into your hips, and roll up through this. Big inhale and down. Straighten that front leg as much as you can, rolling up onto the heel on the way down. If that hurts your heel or something like that, don't do that. You can always leave it flat. We're just getting those hamstrings warm. Move your breath with your body. You have two more. And one more. Inhale as you come to the top. Exhale, bring your hands together. Good. And take a breath. Soft fold. Good. Take a step halfway back with your left leg and unhinge. Roll the shoulders on your inhale. Exhale, push the hips forward. So you should feel this stretch right here in this hip flexor. Good. And now inhale up. And here we go. Reach down and lift. Make sure that you're bending this back knee and sitting behind your knee. If you can't go that low, I'm dragging my fingers on the floor. You don't have to. And you have two more. One more. And step in. Take a breath. Exhale. This time we're going into chair. Lift that chair. And this time try to keep your legs straight. Hinge and fold. Inhale, standing extension. See if you can get that rib cage off the hips a little more. Exhale and fold. Now we're going to take a step back with the right foot. Leave your heel up and come up to a high lunge. Good. Really stretch through that back thigh. And now inhale, put your right hand on the floor Walk that foot back a little more if you can. Sink into your hips. We're in our lunge. Now, you do not have to put the knee all the way down, but I want you to bend the knee and straighten the knee. You can put it all the way down, but you don't have to. Work within a range of motion that feels good for you. You're really going to squeeze that thigh there. One more. Hold that up and revolve your lunge. Hands to the floor, step back to downward dog. Take a little walk here. Flatten out those feet best you can. Remember, the heels don't have to touch, but we want to push them down like they're going to. You're ready? Get your balance and step forward with your right foot. And we're going to come up to our high lunge on the other side. Sink here. Press that pelvis forward. And we're stretching through this front quad here. And bring your left hand to the floor. Sink into your lunge here. And again, as low as you want to go. And really focusing not so much on the down, but on that squeeze at the top. Take a breath and revolve your lunge. Both hands to the floor and back to your downward dog. And let your breath come forward here into your plank. And chaturanga to up dog. Press the top of your feet down. Lengthen the front of your body here. And we're going to take our knees wide, feet together. Sit back in your child's pose. Good. From here, roll yourself up to your shins. And let's press those hips forward again. Look up at the ceiling. But you're supporting yourself with your hands on the back of your thighs. Good. Now inhale up with your left hand. Turn to your right. Your right hand can stay on the back of your leg or come all the way to your heel in your revolved half camel. Think more about lengthening the front of your body than bending backward. Good. Now to come up from this, soften your hips first. Inhale into the center, and we'll go the other way. Good. And bring the hands to your tabletop. And just cat cow here on your own. Think about inhaling in the pose. So right here. And then exhale up to the center. And then inhale and exhale back down through the center. See if you can slow that breath, really inhaling and inflating the lungs. And then just float through rather than quickly passing through. One more time of each. Doesn't matter wherever you are. It's okay if you're not with me. Tuck your feet. And we're just going to go to downward dog. You can pedal that if you want to. Let your eyes come forward. Soften your downward dog. So I'm bending my knees here, and I'm just going to walk myself to the top of my mat. Inhale, standing extension, and exhale and fold. Let the crown of your head drop toward the floor. Think about lifting the hips up as you press the heels down. Good. Bend your knees. Lift your gaze. Unhinge. Big rise up. And then exhale into our heart center. Good. Now, this is nothing you don't already know how to do. We're just going to combine a few things, continue working on those legs today. So we're going to step halfway back and we're going to do that runner start position. So my heel is up and I'm coming straight down like I'm going to start a race. Then I'm lifting and I'm pushing my hips down. Now I'm going to bend back into that, step all the way up, and we'll go again. So here we go. Inhale down, heel is up in the back. Exhale, push to the ceiling. Inhale, come back up on the ball of your foot and come back up. Now, if you can't reach the floor, look, I can put my hands here, fold here, back to here, and standing up. So whatever works for you. So it's a single leg squat, but we're not just working that front leg, we're also working that leg in the back. Every time you stand up and go down, just keep your breath moving. And one more. Let your hands come down and step back. We're going to lower that knee again, down and up, squeezing the quad, down and up. Limit your range of motion if you need to. Increase the range of motion if you need to. Exhaling every time you squeeze. 3 more. Good. Turn that right foot, cartwheel up, and find your warrior 2. You should be feeling the front of your legs right now. Just kind of, they're very warm. Lift into a sun warrior. See if you can sink this front hamstring just a little bit more, but don't let your knee go past your toes. Right hand goes to the back of the right leg. Good. Now come back and straighten your legs. Reach over that left leg and hinge over for triangle. Push down equally through both feet. That left hand, it might be touching the floor, but it is not your kickstand. It is just touching the floor. All your weight is in your legs. Squeeze those legs. Breathe here. Feel that breath opening up this top part of your core and your back. Good. And turn toward the top of your mat. Step back to downward dog. Come forward into plank. Now bend both knees like you're going to put them down and just sit your hips back. Slide forward, sit your hips back. Now my knees are about an inch off the floor. I'm not pushing up to relax down dog. I'm staying low. This is a plank squat. Hold your plank. Use your right hand. Go down to your elbow. Use your left hand. Go down to your elbow. Roll your shoulders. If you need to drop the knees here, you can. Let's hold this plank. Breathe. Try to make every breath complete. And drop your knees. Sit yourself back into your child's pose. Good. Bring yourself up to your tabletop. We're going to extend the right leg and the left arm. Now take a breath, reach back. Don't grab, but just touch. Squeeze your hamstring and then reach away again. My foot stays flexed behind me. I'm not going to point my toe. Now leave your leg out and put your hand down. So from here, I want you to lift your heel, bend your knee, extend your leg, drop it to hip. So you're just going up about 2 inches, pulling in, extend out, then back. So we want to keep it about hip height. So try not to let that drop down here below your hip. Use your mind's eye here, proprioceptive. Breathe, use your core. You might feel that sensation to kind of like arch your back. Every time you lift, keep your core still. I know you're like, but that makes me feel my booty. I understand. I feel it too. You have one more. And release that. Ooh, yeah. Sit yourself up. Good job. And I want you to step forward with your left leg and just relax into this lunge. Bring your hands behind you, giving that chest a chance to open up after that awesome plank. And now slide the hips back. Good. Walk yourself forward here. Tuck your back foot. Lift your lunge. Take a breath and step in. Inhale, standing extension. And exhale and fold. Bend your knees. Lift your gaze and press to the ceiling. Take a moment to breathe, reset however you need to, shake that out. When you're ready, bring the hands into heart center. Good. Now we're going to take your left leg behind you with the heel up. We're going to do that runner start. Now, just because you could reach the floor on the other side, or maybe you couldn't, doesn't mean you can't do something different on this side, right? So just kind of honor where this side is at. Keep your head up as you inhale and go down. Then exhale and lift. Let the head drop there. Inhale, look forward again, and stand up strong. Pull those shoulders back. Inhale down. Press the heel, drop the head. Inhale, lift, and press. As you rise, make sure you're standing or pressing through all four corners of that front foot. Good. One more. Hands to the floor. Step all the way back with that left leg. Leave your heel up. And now begin moving in that range of motion again. Lift and lower that knee. Maybe you can go farther this time. Maybe you need to go the same. Maybe you just want to hold it. That's okay too. And release that back foot into the floor. Turn, come up into your warrior two. My legs are shaking. Good. Let's go up into that sun warrior. Again, try to lower this a little more. Don't let your knee go past your toe, though. If you need more space, walk that front foot forward a little bit. And straighten your legs. Reach those arms out. Reach past your right leg over to triangle. Again, this bottom hand is light. It's just a kickstand, or not a kickstand. It is just touching the floor. We don't want to put our weight on it. See what that does to my posture? I'm here, but if I put my hand, I also don't want to be up here. I can be up here, but I want to keep this hand light. So I just want to have it here, right? Where it's just kind of touching. And turn and go to downward dog. Make sure those feet are about hip width apart. Inhale, come forward into plank. Exhale into your plank squat. Slide back and forth into this here, using your core, your arms. Squeeze those legs when you reach plank. And drop your knees. Sit back into your child's pose. Go back to plank. And now you're going to use your left arm to come down, then your right arm. Find your plank. Catch your breath here. Roll those shoulders down into your back pockets, away from your ears. And drop that down. Come up into your tabletop. Good. We're going to extend the left leg. Flex your foot. Good. Notice my foot is not opening out toward you. I want it pointing straight at the floor, or even better, pointing those left toes toward the right side of my mat. And reach out with the right hand. Take a breath. Exhale. Just touch and come back. Touch and come back. Take your breath with you. Force yourself to go slower by slowing your breath. And set your hand down. Leave your foot up. Good. So now I'm at hip height right now. I'm going to lift that a couple inches. Pull my heel in, go back out, then go down. Really focus on not letting your knee move from that spot that it lifts to. Lift, curl, extend, and down. Lift, curl, extend, and down. Push those fingertips into the floor and help your wrists. 3 more. Core tight. Yeah, belly button wrapped around the spine. 2 more. 1 more. And let that down. Ooh, sit back into your child's pose. Really reach those arms out. Good. Roll yourself up. And now you're going to take your right leg forward. Make sure that your stance is wide enough. So my knee is over here by the left side of my mat. That's not where my foot is, right? My foot's not way over here. Ooh, balance. It's way over here. That gives me a chance to just sink into all this hip space. Open up your heart here. Feel that expansion in your lungs as you breathe. Hands to the floor. Lift your lunge. Take a breath and step into standing extension. And exhale and fold. Bend your knees. Lift your gaze and unhinge. Woo, good job. Take a breath and exhale into prayer. Good job. Time to slow things down. First thing we're going to do, though, is stretch out those quads. So I want you to take a breath and reach down. Now, look, my thumb is forward and I'm going to grab my foot. So my thumb is on my ankle. Keep your knee pointing to the floor. But I can push my hip here away from my heel. Now, if I want a little more, I'm going to change my grip to thumb up. So now my thumb can touch my big toe. Yeah, it's on the arch of my foot. Now I'm not thinking about bending forward. So I'm not doing anything with my hip there. I want to push my heel away from my hip. And then this is just the counterbalance. And slowly release that. Good. We'll go to the other side. Start with the thumb down. Let that quad release first. Yep, knee is right next to the other knee. Hip is pushing away from the heel. And then you can stay here or switch your grip. And now I want to push my heel away from my hip. Or you might want to think about pushing your foot, push your foot into your hand. And again, this upper body stuff, this is just your counterbalance. And release that. Well done. Give those legs a shake if you want to. Reset into heart center. And take a breath. Exhale, hinge and fold all the way to the floor. Step back with your right leg and drop your knee. Good. Now, I want you to walk this foot out to the heel. Good. So this pose right here is half monkey pose. It's different than this pose. Can we see why? My hips aren't back, right? So here, like I'm trying to smell a bouquet of flowers right out here, long spine, or you can start to sink the hips even more and see how far you can take that monkey pose. But don't let this happen. Don't let your spine curl in. Keep your heart lifted. So there's a sense of earth through the floor in your hips, heaven up to the sky with your head. From here, I want you to keep this leg out, but bring it out to your hip. Turn this right foot in just a little, push this out and split your child's pose. So now your hips are back behind your knees. You should feel this stretch go from more of the hip flexor and the back of your hamstring into those adductors right in the middle of your legs. Bring that back to center. Lift your left arm. Thread the needle here. Release the spine. You can move those knees around to wherever you need them. Come back to tabletop. Lift up to the right. Big breath. Exhale. Thread the needle to your left. Right arm down. And come back to the center. Roll up here. Let's do the other side. Step forward with your right leg. Hands to the floor. Now walk the foot out. So again, different than our reclined angle pose. Sit that, walk that heel away. Keep your heart strong. And just notice here, how are you different than you were on the other side? Me, I'm tighter on this side. Give yourself grace. Just be where you are right now. Don't think about, well, but I'm not where I want to be. Think about where you are. And keep that leg out. Just bring it to the side, equal with your hips. Turn that left foot in just a bit. And we sit back into the hips here as we split our child's pose. Bring that back to your tabletop. Tuck your feet, downward dog. Give yourself a little walk here if you want. When you're ready, inhale and lift your right leg. Push that left heel down. And now inhale, bring that knee under you. Square your hips off if you can as we go here to pigeon. Shoulders are squared with the top of the mat, and your hips are too, if you can. If you need to modify down to the knee, or down to the hip rather, you can do that, but make sure you don't relax this leg. Keep it reaching behind you, and you're still pushing the hip forward. Let your body be long here, reaching over that top leg. So we want to think about trying to reach with our spine and our heart rather than rounding to our leg. Two more breaths and walk yourself up. Go back to downward dog. And again, take that little walk if you want to. And when you're ready, lift that left leg, push your right heel down. And now let's inhale, take the left leg under, square off the hips and the shoulders if you can. Flex your foot beneath you. If you're modifying to the hip, keep it long and let your body. Now, you don't have to fold forward, right, or hinge forward. You can get just as much feeling staying up high and focusing on pressing the back leg behind you. Let your breath start to slow down. Two more long breaths and walk that up. Let your legs come around and you'll be seated. Good. Walk your sit bones away from your heels. Find a long seated extension here. Take a breath. Exhale and fold. With each exhale, feel those ribs lengthening down the thighs. Good. Sit back up and just bring yourself all the way back to reclining. Give your right leg a hug and push your left leg to the ground. Now you can do one hand or both hands with this. I just want you to circle your hips. So keep your knee or yeah, your knee flex. Keep your heel where it is. Just relax your hip. So rather than doing it with my muscles, I'm using my arm and letting my hip release. Good. We're going to roll to the left side and grab that right foot. This time you're probably going to want to have thumb on the ankle. This is just sideline here. Push your hips forward. Make sure you're not on your back. Stretching that quad. And now stay on your side. Reach for the big toes and come up. So we tend to roll onto our back here. Keep yourself pushing that top hip, your right hip, push it forward so that you stay on your left side. Good. Pull that leg as though it's going to touch the floor right above your head. Good. And release. Roll back to your back. Grab your left knee and extend your right leg. And then again, one or two hands, relax the hip and just let your knee circle using the arm here. Just a soft release of the hip. And then we're going to roll to the right side. Grab your heel, grab your knee, or your knee, rather your ankle. Point your knee down to the top of your mat. Make sure you stay on your side. Switch to a big toe hold. Push that top hip forward. And roll to your back. Put your feet together into bound pose. Just take a moment here to lay your head to the floor. Just take a moment and let those hips release. And then when you are ready, just take a breath. Let that breath out like a sigh and just arrive at your rest pose. You might not even move your body, or you might move to corpse pose or another rest pose. Remember, there's no wrong way to rest. It's just important that you do. This is a reset. Focus here on your breath. Relax the back of your neck toward the floor. Take a moment to really turn your attention to your legs. Just starting at your hips and your lower back, Find exhales where you can release the glutes and the lower back and then the hip flexors through your quads and your hamstrings. And just really take your time here all the way to your feet. Begin to feel your body in contact with the floor. Wiggle your fingers and toes. When you're ready, roll to one side and join me seated. And bring your hands to your heart. Take a breath. Push the room away. We're going to set our fingertips on the floor. Roll the shoulders back. Lift your heart and come back down. Inhale up. Hands come to heart center. And God bless you. Namaste, guys. Have a great week. I will see you on Wednesday, barring any major catastrophes.